Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, sliceonbroadway.com. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/awesomecast.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast, episode 509. Mike Sorg at Sorgatron here on the Sorgatron Media Studio in Beachview, Pittsburgh, PA, ready to get geeky with our awesome crew tonight. Let's go down the line. First of all, from Studio C in the Dormont, PA, just basically down the tracks from us, our buddy John Chichilla of Big Bank International Esquire. How you doing, good sir?
Pretty good. How are you doing this week, sir?
All right. And also with us, as I am getting updated over here, also with us, Katie Dudas with us.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta go. Sorry, I had a call.
Oh, you found your phone! Fantastic!
It's one of them.
Oh, snap it shut.
Isn't it nice? I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna do the whole show. I'm just gonna sit there and snap it.
Oh my god! So that snap is so satisfying. Oh.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, just like we were talking about last week on the show. If you missed that, what were you watching? Scrubs.
Yeah.
Also with us, she is the help me. I'm going to try to remember the. Is it the weekend editor on The Verge?
That's it.
Yeah, got all the important words right. Kim Lyons back with us once again. How you doing, Kim?
I'm good. It seems like every time I come here, I have a new job, but I've actually had this job for a while now. So.
This is new. You know, it's I don't think I've had Bobby Charley back on since he returned to his other job. So, I don't know if we broke the chain on that, or I have to wait for him to leave again for what he's doing. So
I feel like he's pretty happy there. So I think I'd probably book him. Yeah.
Good. He's overdue. He's overdue. Somebody remind me to book him when I'm not busy doing a show. But this is the AwesomeCast. We got a crew, a fun crew this week. We got a lot of fun stories to get into. Please go check out everything at awesomecast.com. Please follow us on the Twitter and the Facebook, AwesomeCast all over the place, and AwesomeCast over on YouTube. I know there's a few things, so somebody else got it. Please subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcast player, or you can subscribe to the Sorgatron Media Master Feed. That includes everything that happens here at Sorgatron Media, as well as our partners like Thrifty and Bardic Mystery Tour, and our friends at Comic Book Pit, always putting out some great stuff and keeping in the loop on all of that kind of stuff. And of course, we are live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are live on the Facebook page, on the YouTube, on the Twitter, and also on the Sorgatron Media Twitch. And I swear we'll get to LinkedIn if they ever approve me for my page. But anyways, we're working on it. I thought I almost had it tonight. But if wherever you are, please hit the like button, the share button, the watch party button, and that helps let us know that you guys are enjoying what's going on out there, and gets us in front of a little bit more people as well. Sometimes I just go over here and tap Periscope for a while and heart it up. And also, thank you to our audio partners, our friends at the405media.com and Post Industrial that have been sharing some great podcast action from our network as well. And thank you to our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/awesomecast, our friends at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, and our friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor, pghmuseums.org, Professor Buzzkill, another fine podcast at professorbuzzkill.com, and Dave Podner of the Tiny Shutter podcast. Love seeing other podcasters supporting this podcast. that really appreciate that, and really appreciate everybody that does support this show and helps us keep the lights on around here and the podcast machine rolling. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Ignore my awesome thing I wrote in there. But Kim, what is your awesome thing? We'll start with you since you're back with us today.
Well, I don't know how awesome it is, but it was super interesting to me. So we've done a lot about COVID-19 and testing, and what that looks like. And I mean, I think most people know by now when you get tested for COVID-19, it's a really long swab that basically goes up pretty much into your brain cavity. Like it's on up there. And so
Yep.
one of my colleagues at the Verge had a story this week where it's a new initiative to get robots to do the swabbing, and it's kind of fascinating and horrifying at the same time, because it's kind of a standard robot. It's not like a sexy Cylon robot or like a replicant or anything good like that. It's just kind of a robot with a really scary looking swab. And actually the photos if you look at the article, the photos are like, there's one diagram that shows how far up the swab goes. I don't mean to keep harping on that, but it's amazing to me, like how deep it has to go. So I was sort of curious, like, would people be on board with letting a robot swab them for coronavirus? Because I mean, obviously it has its upsides, right? Like, you don't have to get another person involved. You're lowering the risk of infection. It's maybe a little bit more efficient. But like, if that robot slips, or like, something happens and it decides, it becomes self-aware at that exact moment when it's probing your brain, like, that's not ideal. So I did a little Twitter poll and I said, hey, would you let a robot, swab you for coronavirus? And my options for the poll were, you could have Six, the sexy blonde Cylon, you could have Rachel the replicant, you could have Arnold the Terminator, or just get the F out of here with that. I don't want any robots near my. And most people said, no, thank you. I do not want a robot swabbing me. But the second place winner was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator. Like, to me, I would rather have an attractive robot. If I'm going to sit through this and it's going to potentially give me brain damage if it screws up, wouldn't I rather have, an attractive Cylon or someone who at least I felt good about them being the last space I ever saw? I don't know if I'd want Terminator. But it's very cool. It's a very cool concept. It's just kind of like the real world implications are a little bit. It'll freak you out. Read the story though; it's a really good story explaining the steps.
So maybe we picked Arnold because we've been watching him social distancing with his donkeys for the last several months.
Maybe or just like people feel like he'd be really efficient at, like, in and out, and grab your nose. I don't know. And I feel like you'd really want to go with the attractive robot, but maybe something you said for masculine efficiency. I don't know. I give up trying to figure out why people answer Twitter polls the way they do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're saying, Chilla?
I don't. I actually kind of like the harness thing that he's. Even if it was a person, I wish there was that harness to kind of. I'm sure for the robot, it keeps you perfectly in place so the robot knows what to do. But how does the
Skynet's going to attack them? It's going to swab in there, and all suddenly they all network, and then we don't have coronavirus, but
you have a brain implant.
Your brain.
But so my son had to get swabbed at Children's Hospital, and it did look extremely comfortable, and I was nervous about him fidgeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish there was that type of harness, even for me. Like, I feel like if I could grip the harness and push my head into it, like.
Have you have you done this yet? Have you had
I have
one?
not.
You've had one.
I have not been swabbed.
Katie, you had the nose one, right? Kim, you haven't had one yet.
I have not.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a trend follower. I'm a trend setter.
Oh, good.
So,
since you're not first,
I'm gonna get the saliva one, like when before it's cool.
Oh,
I don't really want it up in my brain. I have enough problems up in here.
Yeah. Well, I had to self-impose it. Katie, was your experience? So you've had probably the closest experience that a robot would be a replaceable thing with this. How are you feeling about this idea, especially when you see that diagram?
I thought it was pretty easy, like, because the nurse did it, at the hospital before I had surgery. It was very, very efficient and just like doot done. And I knew it was, I wasn't, probably you were more like, did I go far enough? Am I?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of self-doubt in my self-imposed CVS drive-through test. So while I was being instructed and supervised, it does feel quicker than it actually is, I guess. But I don't know about this because again, it just feels like it's too close to the pain to brain poking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It looks like a roller coaster, like you're holding on the sides.
Well, just wait for whatever.
don't know. Watch out for brain damage.
Whatever next Hostel or Bloomhouse film is, or Final Destination is going to have the unfortunate brain poke of doom, COVID brain poke of doom.
Swabbing robot.
Yeah. That's a word salad over there. COVID brain poke of doom. But I don't. Now you gotta wipe down the harness and it's more problems.
Then when you really think it through, it's kind of like a lot of. I have no control over it.
All right. We got to go to something less squirmy here.
Fair.
It's all downhill from here, guys. Just like after you've had that test. Now you just have to wait 10 days for to find out. Chilla, we discussed. Chilla, no, I can't go from that to email. I can't do that. No, you know what? Screw it. Katie and I have a awesome thing of the week, and it is the WWE Thunderdome crossover, guys. But they did something really cool this week. Katie, I've explained this like multiple times already on other shows. What the hell is the Thunderdome?
So the Thunderdome is it's down in Amway Center, down in Orlando. And so they have the WWE ring in the middle, and they have a wall of people. These are little individual little boxes, and you can see, you could have your face in there. You buy a very expensive ticket to be able.
No, you don't.
Oh, really? Is it cheap?
No, it's free.
It's free?
It's sign up.
Ooh.
It's first come, first serve.
Whoa, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I remember reading something was expensive. It must have been something else involved with it, whatever. But but it's essentially you get to watch, and you're watching the matches you'll see your face like you're in the audience, and you get to react, and the producer of the show when you're participating in it, the producer of the show will announce which wrestler's coming out and that you should applaud or, so you're making sounds so it sounds like there's an actual audience there.
So there's a lot of it was kind of nice because they've been doing this at their performance center, which is basically just a warehouse that where they would have a few rings set up, and they trained everybody. So it's been very like they've started bringing in some of the lower trainees would come in and be an audience, and they're behind plexiglass and all this. So in NBA has done a version of this too, right? Where there's been like these I believe Microsoft Teams was the technology behind it. Down in their NBA bubble. So basically WWE made their own WWE, not set bubble kind of situation, but Katie, I don't know how much of the shows you've watched or the videos or whatever, but the show feels like a big WWE show again.
It's ridiculous. Like just watching them and watching them come down, and all the lasers and all the lights and the crowd and the sounds.
The pyro in the crowd.
Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
No. There's pyro. Like before, you'd have pyro on the stage, and that's it, right? Because there's nobody there, and it's a safe zone. But there's like literally like where the fan faces are. There's like pyro going across in between them and over them and everything. Like it's wild. But yeah.
So
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. So the really techie side of things is the additional tractor trailers of just tech stuff they did to set this whole thing up. And I found an article. It's got they had over 16 million LED pixels for the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
And the seats alone were 1,458 tiles, 600 millimeters, or wait, what is this? 7 millimeters by 600 millimeter tiles. That doesn't sound right. I don't like this article already. I was just like, wait a minute. And they just talk about there was 3 30K projectors covering the ring, 32 20K projectors, video screens everywhere. Mm-hmm. What else was really interesting? 6,100 plus pieces of pyro.
Yes.
100 plus lasers. And there was a whole screen, 32 projectors that projected onto the screen, and the screen that above on the ceiling. But the number of trucks, they were talking about the number of trucks, and a normally touring truck is 21 production trucks, but they added 8 more trucks of just the rigging, 7 more trucks of video products, 5 trucks of lighting, and 1 truck of pyro.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, altogether, is double what they would normally do for a Raw show.
So they're doing this for the Monday show, the Friday show, the pay-per-views, of which there was the one Sunday, and there's actually going to be an additional one this next Sunday, pay-per-views on WWE Network, of course. This does not include the NXT shows that they do on Wednesdays and also had their show on Saturday. Those are still happening at Full Sail University as they were before, just with the aforementioned kind of crowd and plexiglass, which is good because they've always kind of felt different. They've never been a big arena show like this, for really. So it's got that vibe. They are piping in crowd noise. Somebody pointed out the loop. You can hear like one guy every 30 seconds. So things like that.
They should be using the people that are pumping in over the video. You should be able to like.
Well, yeah, but okay. Have you been in the Zoom room with like 10 people? Like. That gets
like where everyone
wild.
gets quiet, or
no, it just turns into a garbled mess or something. There's a point. There's a point on Monday because everybody's coming out. Of course, like Sunday, a lot of people were experiencing first, but they were doing matches. Of course, there's no promo stuff on Mondays, and people would come out, and the champion comes out to do his kind of victory speech, and he's like, "Hey guys, I want to try something. Everybody, give me a thumbs up right now." And then like everybody did. He started doing that. And I'm like, "Oh God, now we're gonna find out what the lag is on everything." Obviously, so it's a first come first serve thing at Wwe Thunderdome.com. You go see if it's open. I signed up for Friday SmackDown and didn't even get a link. Jen Carlin's got into SummerSlam late in the show and stuck around a little bit. So you can tell they're changing up the faces every now and again. So you see that's kind of shifting throughout the show, so you can keep looking for different people. I felt like we were distracted just looking for people doing weird stuff. Friday night, they found a guy sleeping. There's been some unfortunate things where there was a picture of murder-suicide wrestler Chris Benoit. There was an unfortunate guy in a KKK hood. There's been other kind of signs of disapproval of WWE that popped up. That sometimes there's just like, hey, there's a clown for some reason, right? And I'm sure they see those and they get booted and will probably get their IP banned or whatever, right? Because that happened on USA Network last night. Most of those things, most of the bad things apparently. And remember, they're also on Fox, a general FCC controlled network as well. So they got to be real careful with that. I haven't wanted to watch WWE for the vibe for months, and this brought it back for me. So I don't.
Yeah, it did the same for me. Like it felt like a real production, like as opposed to just like a scrimmage.
It felt big, and that's what we've missed from it. So, but that's more of a discussion for the other show. But I don't know, Kim, John, have you seen any of this other than what we're just showing here?
No, it's really wow. This was the first I saw it on the list of awesome things, but wow. Right here. Like I've been on like awkward Zoom calls too, like you were talking about before. Like the worst ones are the ones where someone's talking and everyone has to tell them that they're muted. But like, I don't know, the more people you add to the Zoom call, the higher the awkward gets, even if you're trying to do like a webinar or presentation or whatever. But then, the other day Zoom was down and it was like, yay, my meeting's canceled.
First day of school for some people. I know somebody goes Cal U and they're like, well, Zoom's down today. That's fun.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all the poor parents, right, who are Cal P's just waiting for the Zoom to start so I can get these kids off me, and and it goes down for half the day. Yeah, that wasn't the best timing for them, but yeah, I'm getting weary of the Zoom meetings with like 15 pages of tiles. It's hard to. One person has their camera on, one person's Wi-Fi is bad. And it's just.
We have had as many of 15 people on a show that we would load up before a show, and they would have segments. So think of it as not 15 at the same time, and this is all pro wrestlers, so they're not entirely technically proficient on top of things. And then we go to it and have to ask them to unmute in the like we do this show, but it's like, hey, remember to unmute or text them, or the host has to do it because I'm just in background. Like it's just wild what you can do with those. So, but I think everybody's getting a little bit of fatigue from it. Well, another older technology that we've had fatigue for years for is email. And Chilla?
Wait, real quick. I'm surprised they
okay.
don't do they? Because I'm not hip on the wrestling stuff. But with all those trucks and all that technology and all that equipment, is there like a VR pipe where I can join with like a VR headset and watch
Not
like
currently.
I'm
No,
right there?
not currently. They've done VR with NextVR, where they would kind of like they had the cameras around like on the posts and in front of the ring and stuff, and they would switch them and then put out some of the matches from a pay-per-view maybe. Like that's really
Okay.
all the VR that they've done so far. But in this, no, there's not.
But
So
what a good idea.
Mhm.
That's a
I
great
think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be on Zoom with you just see me with my goggles on looking around, but
Yeah. There's
like
no
the
way to look cool with the VR goggles on. I mean, we need to. Where's the technology? Making them look better.
maybe I'll
Yep.
bedazzle mine.
Chilla,
Yeah.
they also had 2 drones that they're able to do indoors because there's no people in there besides production.
they're doing that instead of the jib crane, aren't they?
Yeah,
And I didn't even notice because it just looks like their jib shot.
yeah. I think
What
so.
happens if what happens if one of the drones gets hit by like a flying chair or something?
I don't think they're no, they're out there. They're up there.
Oh, they're out there?
Yeah, they're not anywhere near the ring if they're doing that. Although you never know, they could do that. They could just decide to like do a crazy swooping shot over a rest hold in the middle of the ring or something, right? I don't know. Maybe they get a little more bold after the first week of all the technical issues getting this thing to work first off. So there were points. Something happened. I think a match just ended. Everybody was booing it. And they did a close-up because they'll do these close-up shots or these reaction shots as if the crowd was there because, something happens, cut away. Oh, my God, guy going crazy in the crowd, right? Or booing or some kid or something, right? They're still doing that physically with cameras pointed at the screens. So the one time they do that, and it's like the wide shot of everybody booing, and then they stop. The entire screen froze for like a half a second, and we're just like, oh no, he broke the screen. So I'm kind of waiting for that, and considering that everything is now live again, like at what point was it like, okay guys, we got to reboot the screen? So
Yeah.
Cut to commercial? Like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah, like at baseball games and stuff, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
the
absolutely.
fake fans, like it's just not. Yeah. I
I'd be
get it. I mean, crowd noise.
I'd be very curious about that redundancy system. Chilla, can we talk about email now?
Who's their
Oh.
sponsor? Who are they using?
For tech?
Yeah.
I
Are they
would-
using Zoom or On24 or what?
So I think it's their own thing. I know that Jen was in on her phone, but I don't think they're using some kind of professional backend. So like the company was mentioned at some point. Also, I think they got this together in about a month. So, which is in itself impressive. Chilla, can I finally code you?
So yeah, I not only can I pack rat my my emails, now I can pack rat my Chrome tabs.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
Chrome,
no.
as part of an update today, has now have the ability to group your tabs and kind of shrink them down into a group. If you go to like partway down that page, there's like just inches down that page, there's an animation that shows
There it is.
kind of like the shrink and expand of tabs in Chrome. And you can actually name the groups of tabs.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was super cool because what I do for this show, in fact, I typically have a browser open and all the tabs in there are stuff I've kept throughout the week to add to the show, or I'll keep a different browser open with stuff for work. Now I can keep it all in one place. And what I'm really interested in is, will this sync across devices?
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's the case, then it'll make my life even more easier. Like when I'm looking, because sometimes I'm like, I'll just email this, or I don't know if you've ever used Pocket. I'll use Pocket from time to time. But I really like this idea of being able to group my tabs, expand them, shrink them. Presentations for work where I want to have a bunch of different tabs open to show something. I can put I can stage all of the stuff but keep all my other stuff in there. And if you're worried about An issue or issues, they're claiming that even with this, tabs should be loading up to 10% faster. The other thing they added is when you hover over a tab, it will show you a preview of what's in that tab, which is also, I think, super nice, especially if it's, I don't know if you do the thing where like you're on Amazon and you're like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I'll right click open in new tab, and like you have like this whole thing of opened in new tabs, either out of Google searches or whatever. And you're trying to figure out which one was which.
Or for me, like Podcast Day, when I'm posting this show, it's all the places it posts to, like every format, and I tab across all of them, and it's like, okay, title, description, tag, you know, like paste across all of them. So that could maybe help that too. Also, hiding tabs, because I realized when I did a production and we had to last minute figure out how to do a sort of quasi multicam shoot via Google Meet, and I realized I showed the codes to our meeting the entire show when we went to those shots, because I couldn't full screen the Firefox on a Mac, you know. So it would have been nice to kind of like push those over into their own thing, maybe, just to be a little safer, because somebody could have really made things a headache for me. And I realized like halfway through the show, I'm just like, okay, just hope nobody notices. It's small on the screen. Everybody's on their phone. We should be good on Facebook, right? So, but it worked otherwise. But guys, lotteries are hardcore. We did a sportsman bash on Saturday morning, and it was like intense. Also, Doug was a part of that too. So, anyways, no, that's cool. So it looks like I need to jump back over to Chrome from Firefox, because I've been using it. If stuff's getting a little faster, like I got off Chrome because it was really kind of bogging down the Mac side. So is it time for me to hop over and give it a shot for a while?
Give it a try.
I gotta say, that organizing tabs thing is a huge game changer, because what I do is, like, I'll leave a tab open. Oh, it's like my response to emails, right? Like, if I don't get to it right away, I want to read this thing, but I don't have time right now. But yeah, so I'll leave the tab open and leave it open, and then eventually, you know, it's like, why did I open? Oh yeah, that tab's open. So be able to group the tabs into my different, you know, distraction pods or whatever, like stuff I'm gonna read, you know, stuff I'm gonna hate read. That would be better. And if it's, I'm not sure if it syncs across devices, but I mean, Mac, it seems like a no-brainer, but you know, I'm not sure. But that definitely would be incredibly helpful.
It should. I'm curious how it would translate to like your Apple version of Chrome, perhaps. But
you would think it would just be a scrollable.
Yeah, it'd just be a heading.
Right? Even if it was just a scrollable list with. Yeah. It was broken out into the groupings would be nice.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to hop back over to that. So, anyways, hey, also want to hop over and give a shout out to our good friends down the street here at Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasts with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Our friends at the Beachview, Carnegie, East End locations. No more PNC Park, unfortunately. Is baseball still happening there? I guess we can question whether it ever did, but. They of course moved out, but you know, a lot of great stuff, a lot of great support for them from the AwesomeCast nation out there. Thank you everybody who has been supporting them, and tweet us when you do. Really do appreciate that too. So check them out, sliceonbroadway.com. All right, guys. We had, of course, we always have a lot of contributions over on the Facebook group for AwesomeCast, and I believe Doug dropped one for us recently. This is a Kickstarter called the Duolink SpeakerBuds. Chilla, I know you're a earbuds guy. Did you take a look at these yet?
I did not look at these, and I'll be honest why. I've been burned a couple times recently on the
Kickstarter deal.
On the Kickstarters and what's the other one? Indiegogo. So I've taken a rest.
I like the idea, but again, like headphones have kind of if they're not done right, they turn out really kind of rough. So the idea is this is it's earbuds that can change into, you put them in the dock, and the dock itself is also a speaker. For one thing, and I think switching between dual speakers, true wireless earbuds, and a portable speaker. So you can actually separate the two halves of your charger and it becomes two different speakers that are still wirelessly connected. So I like the idea, but I kind of want to wait until Apple steals it to know to know it works, right, Kim?
Right. I mean, yeah. I agree with you though. Like Kickstarter, I see so many things like, oh, I'd like to support creators, and oh, that's a great idea. But yeah, too many things getting burned. And also, like, people like different things. Like, I really like the big headphones that go over your ears, cancel out all the noise. Like, I'm not super, I don't know, buds anymore. I never get a good fit. I always just like the over ear better. So I don't know. But I agree with you about Kickstarters. Like, I want to support creators and cool ideas, but it's been burned a couple times by, trying to support, cool stuff that just never came to fruition.
What about you, Katie? Were you cautiously optimistic about this?
Well, I was disappointed they didn't have mics.
Yeah.
That bugged me because I was kind of curious about that, because I'm looking for, the Apple ones don't fit, the AirPods don't fit well in my ears. So I've been looking for something else, wireless, Bluetooth, that has a good mic that I can use for videos, because it's just much easier than, using my wired guy. And I saw that and I was like, poop, never mind.
Yeah. So, well, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Doug, for making us worry about Kickstarter. Give him a shout out, yinslovebarbecue.com. Check out what he's got a lot of stuff going on over there too. So, let's get into what else we got here. Katie, hit me with one of your stories down here.
I muted myself.
Oh, okay. Just like we were talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, friend. Let's talk about the ex-Google employees are doing a university for students who may be taking a gap year. So I thought this was pretty cool. It's there. So ex-Google employees are called, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's like an Xoogler. So Xoogler.
I think it's just ex-Xooglers, right?
Yeah, that's
Xoogler.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I've seen it printed many times.
So they're doing a whole school. It's an 8 weeks course, and they have ex-employees and current employees of Google teaching these classes, like with things that's like how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, to how to get a job in tech, how to present yourself, basic, getting yourself out there and how you should be marketing yourself. But it's nice for like a gap year, because a lot of students aren't sure if they want to go to college this fall because of everything going on with the virus. They want the full experience, which is an amazing, when you go to college, it's a fun and exciting experience. But whenever you're doing it online, it's not the same exact thing. So some students are opting to keep themselves out for a year and that gap year. And now you can actually do something while you're doing that. And but it looks pretty cool. Like, I was disappointed that only juniors and seniors can participate in it, because I was like, oh dang, can we sign up for some of this? Because I think that would be neat to. And there's like an Ask Me Anything with fellow university recruiters. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I was reading through this article that I thought was really neat, and I thought would really, because a lot of people don't want to just, students don't want to just sit around and not do anything this fall, and then they could still learn things. But I think it's pretty cool. Even just like how to pitch yourself in a Zoom call. I like that one.
Nice.
Don't cheat on your interviews.
Don't cheat on. Wait, what do you mean cheat on your interviews?
I've heard numerous people like saying their video doesn't work during video-based interviews, and then all you hear is clicking and clacking because they're Googling
answers to
questions, and then kind of like hemming and hawing at the answer until they find the right page, and then just regurgitate.
Any recruiter or any interviewer who has ever done an interview, I feel like they'd probably catch on to that. But like, it's sort of an evil genius idea, but you gotta be better than, hearing the sounds of you typing and looking for the answers. If you're gonna do it, like, go all in, right?
Jeez.
Laziness.
So what's going all in? Is that like having a second computer and
yeah, like
you have it, you have you have your AI assistant of choice, like listen to the interview question and then
robot, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, the AI will transcribe the question for you while you're like, oh, that's a really good. So here's the thing: when I ask someone a question as a reporter, I know when they're stalling because it's like, well, that's an excellent question. I'm really glad you asked that. That's such a stalling tactic, but like a lot of people don't realize it's a stalling tactic. So that right there, as soon as he asks you the question, then you say, oh, that's a really good question. I'm really glad you asked that. Obviously, you know a lot about this topic, and meanwhile, you're looking up the answer. So like, you got to find those little techniques to make it sound like a normal conversation. But if you're just going to sit there and Google answers and the person can hear you, you're really not putting, like, you may as well just go on camera and, you know.
So you have your Google Glass because because of course you still do, and you just go tap. Oh, what was da 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 da, and then the answer is automatically rolling in your ear, and you just repeat it. So
I would never do such an underhanded thing, just for the record. I just want to make sure I'm making it sound like I know all these ways to cheat on things. I definitely would never.
But then hilariously, it gives you the wrong answer.
Oh my God.
Because it's about computers, but it tells you
then you look really
because
stupid.
turns cross over, it's actually about like cleaning your bathroom, and it's really awkward.
Or you just start blatantly reading it to be like, well, let me tell you what I found on Wikipedia.
Find your question is.
Webster defines.
Well, off the top of my head, sure. Oh, geez. Well, we should probably touch base with the Epic. Get your popcorn ready. What's the latest in Epic versus Apple? Jeez.
Such a saga.
You know what? But I'm ready for this. Like Kim, you followed tech for a while. I mean, obviously, right? You remember the days of like what's happening with this patent war situation with Oracle and Apple and whoever. I mean, this is actually interesting to me.
It's interesting because I think Epic is making the case that a lot of smaller developers have made for a long time. Like that Apple takes way too big of a chunk, that, you know, that there should be a way to, you know, negotiate it, discuss it, you know, make it work for your company, rather than just their flat 30% cut of every purchase that you make via the App Store. So it's an interesting challenge. I ultimately don't know that Epic, I mean, they've obviously done this big PR blitz. I'm sure you saw the video of mocking the 1984 commercial, and Apple is the bad guy in that one, right? And so they've obviously been preparing for this for a while. But I think, you know, we heard the hearing yesterday, you know, the judge said something to the effect of, you know, you kind of created this emergency, so it's not really an emergency, you know, because they were trying to argue that it's going to affect, you know, other developers who are using Unreal Engine, and, you know, all of the, their argument is interesting, but I don't know that it's going to get them that far. I think more people bringing suits against Apple like this will probably, I don't know, Apple's got all the money, basically, and they can do this because they have the position that they have, right? So more companies coming forward in any other situation, you know, if you had multiple companies like Epic or like other big developers who had the popularity to like go toe-to-toe with Apple, maybe if you had more of them, it might be effective, but I don't know. I guess it's going to depend on how loyal, you know, Epic's fans are, how many people are going to care about, you know, is this Fortnite is going to make it, you know, is going to be the thing that changes Apple's mind. I don't know if they're big enough, I guess is what I'm saying, but it's definitely interesting. I'm glad though that it's finally not just kind of like, you know, I remember hey.com, that email service that came out recently, and that guy kept trying to went toe-to-toe with Apple and eventually worked, you know, something out. But I think you're going to see more of this. I think Apple is kind of at the point now where the developer is going to push back and say, hey, we bring value as well. It's not just you, Apple. It's, you know, we have value, we have fans, we have, you know, devoted customers to our products too. So, you know, there has to be some give. And, you know, Apple will. I mean, they cut a deal with Amazon, you know, so, I mean, they'll do it. I just, you know, it's interesting that it's inconsistent, you know, that they'll take a hard stance sometimes, but other times they'll work out a deal. So I think you'll probably see more things, even if Epic isn't successful, I think you'll see more like this. I think Apple's going to have to figure out a better way to handle this, maybe tiers or something, I don't know, but I think too many people have pushed back too hard so far.
Go ahead, Chilla.
Well, I was surprised to see, so Microsoft stepped up and backed them for the Unreal Engine only, not
right. Like, otherwise, you guys can screw off, but we care about Unreal Engine.
Well, I guess we should explain, like, the Unreal Engine is part of this because, of course, Epic runs that. That's what a lot of games run on, including Apple, including the Apple's own Apple Arcade games in some cases. So as part of retribution for this, or reaction to this, Apple said that they were going to shut down the developer tools for Epic, which includes everybody's access to the Unreal Engine. That affects iOS and Mac as well. Basically anything with Apple on it, and that hurts. And that's where Microsoft has stepped up, because that's like, hey, this is not okay.
You know, it affects so many people in the ecosystem. It's not just Epic versus Apple. It's all these other developers who are using it as well. And
it sounds like the judge was on the, as you said, I was rereading her statement. I think it's to her that you know, you guys created this, but no innocent bystander shouldn't be harmed by this.
Right.
So, yeah. Although, doesn't it already kind of hurt? I mean, Epic's got to be getting hit by this because, you know.
Was there truth to the emails that they claimed to have where Epic was trying to reach out to Apple? This wasn't an all of a sudden thing, and Epic wanted
their own store
to be. They wanted their own store. So
yeah.
Are you going to tell me they weren't going to take a percentage cut of those companies?
Well, yeah, there's that too. And
I think that Epic is trying to portray themselves as being this, you know, we're trying to help everyone. If this works for us, it'll work for everyone. And they've maintained throughout that, you know, they're trying to not just make this change and just cut a deal for themselves, but that they actually want to change the way Apple does things. Well, so there's a lot of emails back and forth. Epic says, oh, Apple's misrepresented this. This isn't really how it went down. So yeah, there definitely were some discussions privately before this all went public, but you know, I think it sort of depends whose side you're on, like who you know, believe like Epic is really doing that. Are they really out for themselves? Are they really out just for their company, or do they have some greater good in mind? But yeah, those emails were not, you know, they didn't really make Epic look very good. I mean,
what if they were, to me, if they were really being altruistic about this, and they were using their own equipment, there would be a greater cut than 20%.
Yeah, right.
So to me, what they're telling me right off the bat is the App Store should take at minimum 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel
and it's not like they gave everyone 30% cuts.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I'm going to be really interested to see how this all plays out. Like if it has broader implications, or if Epic and Apple, I feel like they'll probably work something out outside of the courtroom and have some kind of settlement. We may or may not ever find out what it actually is. But if this leads to more, you know, people pushing back against Apple, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, it isn't. You know, we talk about the limitations with Microsoft's own xCloud and Stadia not being able to come over, and NVIDIA Geforce is not coming over anytime soon. Like, there's just these arbitrary rules that they won't budge on, and they say for the sake of security, but it gets down to that argument of I spent $1,500 for this phone. I should be able to put damn well anything I want on it. Right.
Well, yeah.
You know,
right.
I mean, we wouldn't accept this. We wouldn't accept this, and we worry about this on a steady basis on the Mac platform with their gatekeeper situation. Of course, Downey, which funny, I heard about it because of their situation of having of their certificate getting unsigned, which is software to download videos off of YouTube, which I could actually find very handy. I ended up purchasing it last week because I found out about it because they had a problem with the App Store. So, but you know, like those little guys are getting some. But also, it's just a bunch of companies that are just trying to get a bigger piece of their already significantly, insanely large pie. You know,
a lot of pie.
A lot of pie, a lot of dances, a lot of marshmallow, a lot going on there. I just want my streaming Xbox games on my phone. That's all I want out of this, is them to let off on that. But that's okay. That's okay, because Chilla, remember the Nexus 7? Guess what it runs? Microsoft xCloud. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. That it worked. I didn't have a controller to hook up to it at the time, but I was watching the intro with little stuttering into Tekken 7 with ease. So that's fantastic. Of course, Geforce isn't on there, but and this thing's running like Android 6. Sorry. I'm glad I got to segue that one in there because I was really happy that works. I'm like, I wonder about this. I was reading the system requirements on the xCloud beta. Wait a minute, like Android 5, 6? Wait a minute. So I took it home, charged it up, and batteries fried on it, so you're not getting too far, but still. So
you can't get away from the wall, but you're good.
I gotta have a tether. So how's my wireless streaming helping me? But
as long as it charges faster than it drains the battery, you're fine.
I don't know if we do well running Periscope on it right now, actually. So but then again, the xCloud is basically the same thing, right? It's a streaming something happening. So as long as that's, we'll see. We'll see. It was just kind of a cool thing. Speaking of, there was a cool story coming up. So Geforce Now, their streaming cloud platform, which is amazing, is rolled out a Chrome OS version, which is basically a browser-based version. You have to download a client when you're on PC or Mac, and this will play stuff that's in your Steam library, Epic Games. There they are again, right? The Epic Games Store, the Uplay, Ubisoft Store, whatever the case may be. So that's like, okay, it's in the browser. Why don't we have it on other platforms? There's a nice hack that apparently, if you get the right plugins to change your user agent on your browser, you can play NVIDIA GeForce Now in your browser on any platform, of course, including Linux now, as well. It involves Pocket. You mentioned them earlier there, Chilla, and a user agent switcher for Chrome plugin, and then you just set it to a specific thing. We'll have the link in the if you want to experiment with this yourself. I don't know if this would affect much else other than just, it's just how it identifies. Like when you look for stats for a website and you see, okay, so many Chromes were on Windows, so many were on Mac, so many were on iOS, things like that. But then this gets me thinking, why can't we do the same? Speaking of getting around Apple, why can't we do the same? Could there be a version that's on Safari WebKit that could then have me stream from my phone in a browser?
I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if we don't see numerous workarounds. So now that the developer license is free and you can technically develop just for your device, I've seen multiple people. Yeah.
Really?
I've seen, but I think you're only you don't get multiple device signing certificates. It's something that's just to you. From what I was reading,
it's me, my iPhone. I want to get started in development, but I don't want to drop $90 now.
Yeah,
okay.
You're not going to get to do very much other than push to a device.
Yeah.
But from I've seen a lot of people that have released pre-built code for, hey, you want a Game Boy emulator or you want whatever. Here's the code. Have at it. Have fun. Push it down. I think there could even become a time where $99 to get all this. That's where I'm surprised this hasn't gone, is $99 and we'll give you all of this source code and you can roll your own xCloud app and Game Boy emulator and these 52 other things. I think people would, if there was a site that's all it was. We've seen it happen before. What Facebook got in trouble for pushing their device management certificate down to unsuspecting teens. So I think if there's a big enough revolt, we'll either go back to the jailbreak days, or we'll go to here's open source copies of all this. Here's how you compile it and roll your own.
It'll be because that was the biggest thing. Because things like, I can't remember what they were, but they were just programs that weren't allowed yet on the iPhones, and that's
copy paste. That was jailbreak first.
I was like, copy paste, was that a thing? But the feature to copy paste, people were breaking their phones, jailbreaking their phones, circumventing the locks on it, so I can cut and paste. Think about that.
Well, I've heard people are selling their phones for obscene amounts because they have Fortnite on them.
Cutting for the Fortnite. Oh wow, that's fun. It's a fun aftermarket. But no, I mean, if this xCloud and NVIDIA and Stadia become a bigger thing, which I think the big test of it will be starting mid next month when they go public for Game Pass streaming for Xbox. A lot of people are like, hey, why is this on my phone? When my buddy has it. So that's going to be really interesting to see.
Or is there going to be just a package deal where, NVIDIA or somebody makes their own device, probably based on Android, where, hey, subscribe to our service for a year, and much like Xbox, you can, zero interest $0 interest Xbox. Here's your free mobile device.
Samsung's already doing that, aren't they? So for the most part, they're doing the wrap-ins with.
They're doing the wrap-ins, but they're not giving away a free device.
That's true. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Or a $0 interest device.
When this becomes a thing that Apple feels the pinch for it, then we'll get it, like after everybody else, and we'll be like, cool, and then we just move on, just like we do. We don't remember the dark days of jailbreak, copy and paste.
Anyway. Well, remember, nobody's going to need an app store. All you need is your browser.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Get back to in-app purchase. Get back to streaming web apps, right? Katie, I got something for your industry that you're very familiar with over there. Have you seen what Stranger Things is doing out in California?
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you see this?
Yeah, you sent it over. It looks pretty neat.
So Stranger Things is doing a drive-into experience in California. I believe it's the LA area out there, which starts tomorrow, actually, 19 hours to go. I think it's mostly a promotional thing, again, on a wait list. But yeah, it's a drive-through, including there's like the Starcourt Mall, and a lot of set pieces. I'm sorry, tickets are $59 per car. Duration about an hour experience that you're going to have. It's a central location in downtown LA. Stranger Things is not a stranger to this, sorry. But they were doing these lift experiences where they were jump scaring lift passengers for an advertising campaign for one of the seasons of Stranger Things. Actually, that was put together by a company here in Pittsburgh, which I think I picked up somebody from that company that told me about it while I was driving Lyft. But no, yeah, no stranger to the different experiences, and it's kind of cool, but also interesting considering I don't think a new Stranger Things season is coming for a good while.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, it's cool, but is that imminent? I feel like there's more imminent releases.
Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios last year was doing the Stranger Things, like a hunt walkthrough, and it was immensely popular. And like a lot of their badge holders were the Stranger Things, and they were selling so much Stranger Things merch, and it was just like,
it's one of those shows where the nostalgia factor is so high, even though it's not really, it's like going back and dredging up your 80s nostalgia, even though it's not really in the 80s. So yeah, the nostalgia factor is, that's always that X factor with stuff like this that, is going to make or break it. So yeah, it could be a good thing, but yeah, I wish there was another season of Stranger Things coming out.
Yeah, or maybe there was going to be, and with everything shut down. But
yeah, I'm guessing because did you see what's her name, Bobby Brown from Stranger Things? She's going to be in a new Netflix Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, where it's the one.
She's like the little sister.
Yeah, right.
That looks really good. So I'm wondering if they somehow got through that, and they were probably supposed to go back to filming Stranger Things, and we went on Corona hiatus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
that looks like a good one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe to wrap it up, Katie, tell us what YouTube is doing for their content moderation here.
So for YouTube's content moderation, they're going digital. They're letting the tech do it for them.
Wait a minute. Wait. Isn't everything digital with YouTube?
Yeah, pretty much. So they're letting the tech look at essentially the videos and determine which ones go against their terms of use, terms of service. And they said between April and June, it removed more than 11.4 million videos for violating the policies, which is double than what they took down in previous 3 months. Because they had to do this because, we're working at home and there's not a lot of people working at YouTube, actual live humans. So they're using the tech to do this. And so they kind of went a little far with what they were, a lot of people asked, have a second look, and they reinstated the videos, but they would rather be extra cautious than be under cautious, especially when a lot of, nudity and child safety is a big thing with YouTube. At least they try and cut down the number of abuses. But they were they said about 325,000 of the removed videos were appealed and about half were reinstated.
Yeah.
But they didn't mention how many videos they actually, like if there was an increase in the number of videos that have been posted since we've all been at home and have nothing to do besides make videos on YouTube. So
I actually wrote that for the Verge earlier today. And that was the one question that I had was the number of videos actually produced greater because everyone's home and everyone's got a camera now. And so what I thought was interesting, because I was like, well, why can't people just moderate these videos from home? Like everyone has a computer. And there were two things. So a lot of people weren't able to view the videos because of, filters that they might have on their computers at home or their Wi-Fi at home. Because if you're dealing with like illegal, video content, you don't want to be necessarily have that on your home browser and hey, here comes the FBI showing up your house. And the way they do the moderation is they have it at a special facility. It's not just like any Google, YouTube facility, because there's so much sensitive information and it's so specialized work that they have to have them in a specific place where there's specific security protocols in place. So it's not like they do this in every YouTube office. There's just specific, protocols and security measures set up at certain locations, not others. So, but yeah, the algorithm, they overcompensated on the side of being safer, which was like, maybe more tech companies should err on the side of over policing a little bit, But yeah,
as long as they're expedient with their appeal policy or their appeal process, then
was they knew they were going to get more appeals, so they put more staff on the appeals process to make sure that things were getting, they knew they were going to get some flagged that shouldn't necessarily be flagged, but put more staff on appeals so that they could handle the, angry creators.
So I can say I've seen this. This has been something I've been contending with since COVID started. Because I noticed that, and I thought it was a response of the misinformation issue, which part of it was, I know we mentioned COVID a lot in a lot of our stuff because it came up as subjects, so I'm sure we got a lot of that too. But the pro wrestling videos, because I have a couple of streams, couple of videos that go up, and I'll get like ad limited kind of stuff pop up, or they remove the ads, or I get some other thing about, I got one just the other day that says for 18 plus on a match, which seemed to be a typical wrestling match. I have another friend, a women's wrestler. She had her stuff pulled for not being good, community guidelines. So it just like and multiple people have said the same to me in the wrestling community. And I was just like, just hit the appeal, get the appeal again, do it. This has happened, I think, a little bit on Facebook as well. But I think that is more people reporting things because they don't like it. Because I've noticed somebody, we do have a friend this is a whole other thing, but we do have a friend that got kicked off of Facebook for 24 hours for quotes saying America is stupid. So I'm just like, somebody just like said you were offensive and you got booted. Like, that's what happened. Appeal it, dude. So if you are contending with this on any, especially Facebook, YouTube right now, hit the appeal button. Don't shy from the appeal button, especially if it seems out of normal. And if
they're expecting you to.
Yeah. It's kind of like a please, and I think they do say that. They say that in the creator account, due to high demand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, this has been explained if you pay attention to those things, which a lot of us don't.
And what they did say was they weren't going to put strikes on videos.
Right.
You get a certain number of strikes on your account, and then you're booted permanently. So they were kind of relaxing the strikes a little bit. That's why they were overcompensating on removing them rather than putting strikes on people's accounts. So, because obviously that has longer term implications.
Yeah. So
do they make the AI rewatch it and learn from its mistakes?
Probably not.
AI doesn't want. I hope. They send the AI over to play Stadia for a while and play some Serious Sam, I guess, or Destiny. Oh, geez, guys! It was. By the way, I'm going to put Kim's article in the tag because it doesn't have. Because I feel embarrassed that I was playing the CNN video at the top, and it was like a 1998 YouTube thing with just people falling off of bikes and stuff and getting hit by cars. And I'm just like, really CNN? Come on. So we will include Kim's article about this where the prominent questions have been asked. So
Yes.
So
sorry, Kim.
All right.
Awkward. But Kim, thank you so much for joining us again and hanging out.
Oh, anytime.
So I'm glad. I hope this means you'll be around for a long time where you're at, and we don't have to do the what's your new job next time.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So,
I feel like I've settled in a little bit. They're
Yes.
used to me, and yeah, things are going well.
Yes, it's been well. We still have that on the show. I think like 2 weeks ago, one of your articles popped up, and I said friend of the show alert. So that's been a fun game we've been able to play here the last few weeks.
Oh, good. I'll send you a list. Like, here's what I wrote today, and you guys can.
Here's the Kim list. Thank you so much again. Where can people follow you and find your stuff online?
Oh, I'm on the Verge. I hang around on weekends, so pretty much anything Saturday or Sunday, I've either edited or promoted or was interested in it. And I'm on Twitter a lot. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's where I am. So that's me.
Yeah. Katie, you're of course other places too. You've been giving updates about what's been going on with you.
Kate Marie PGH, mostly on Instagram, and here and there Kate Utters on Twitter. I'm playing with my phone. It's a 1.3 megapixel. Watch out.
What did I say? The webcam that I have you guys on to see me is a 2 megapixel, so I'm not too far off. It's probably from about the same era, actually. So and I don't people. Hold on, maybe I can show on here. Yeah, there. This is what it looks like to them. A much lower res for sure. So, and of course, John Chichilla
on the Twitters, and I'm waiting for Katie to start posting videos from her phone and say, "Look at my cool filter."
Hey, do you have a Text America Moblog to connect that with at all?
With your WAP browser?
Did I use with your WAP browser? Did you not Eventbrite? What was the Event-Kite? Was that the one that was the Foursquare competitor?
Bright-Kite.
Bright-Kite. I remember sitting at a Sheetz going to a wrestling show with a small printout of the codes to text my location to Bright-Kite to figure out how to check in at Sheetz down on Clareton Boulevard. By the way, there's never any service there. Still not. Thank you so much. And it was remember because I just out of the car on my eye. What the hell is this thing? It's some. This is some home automation from 1996, and we talk about this as well as the Microsoft. What was it? The Microsoft home. What was it called?
I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of phone.
It was a phone. It was a Microsoft phone from 1998, I believe. There is a payphone involved at one point. We watched the commercial, and it was fantastic. So
it's the Microsoft cordless phone system.
Yes.
You can leave 9-minute voicemails, which
9 minutes.
Just don't.
Fantastic. You could probably look that up, but also we talk about that and that is exclusive over on patreon.com/awesomecast. And you guys are getting some straight exclusive stuff over there. So thank you so much, everybody that is supporting the show. And I hope you're getting some of that new content and enjoying that as well. We'll see you guys next week. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.